Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I made these Dentalium dangle earrings. For this tutorial, I'm using 1.5-inch Dentalium I got from Chrissy's Creations. I'll link her store as well as a few more in the description below. The next thing you're going to need is some Fireline thread. I'm using 0.006 inch. You want to use a very thin one that's going to fit in your beading needle. Then I'm using some fancy beads. These are pressed glass. I also have some preciosia, bicones in different sizes and shades. I recommend getting some 4 or bigger millimeter for stoppers. Then you'll need some earring hooks, scissors, as well as a nail file or sandpaper, and thread protectors or wire guards. To get started, I'm taking my tulip beading needle, a nice long one, and then I'm going to get my Dentalium. I'm going to sort and find 6 pieces for one earring. Now you'll see some of them aren't quite the same size, so I'm going to take my nail file or sandpaper and file it down until it's the same size. Measure them out to make sure that they are similar. You can also take pliers and break if you need to get rid of a considerable chunk, making sure to file any rough edges. Now I'm going to use these little lids and just section out all of my beads. Get my needle and thread. You're going to grab about 2 to 3 feet of your Fireline, depending on the length of your earrings. Cut and thread your needle. I'm going to get started with 2 of my smaller bicone beads on my needle. Push them down and make sure to leave a 6-inch tail. Then I'm going to put my needle up through the first bead I added, creating a loop. You'll see when you pull them together, they should sit nicely side by side. Then I'm going to go through them another time to make sure they're really secure. Putting my needle down through the other bead and then up through the first bead again. Using Fireline is really going to help with this process and make sure they're very secure. Now the next step is optional. I'm adding this heart bead up above, so I'm going to go up through the bead, push it down, and then take my thread protector. So I'm going to go up through one side of the thread protector, push it down. I'm also going to pinch it so it fits on the heart better. And then I'm going to go down through the other side of the protector and down through the heart bead. And then I want to make sure I'm going down through the other bicone bead. So you can see my threads coming out one and I'm going down the other. This will center the heart. Make sure to pull nice and snug so your thread protector is strong and in place. Perfect. Now we can start adding Dentalium. I'm going to go from the top to the bottom, from the small end to the big end. Just like that. Now I'm going to take one of my beads. This one is a 4 millimeter. You can use 4 or larger typically for your Dentalium. Then I'm going to take these smaller ones underneath, doing a pattern from light, dark to medium. This is the pattern I'm going to repeat around the whole time. So we're going to do that 2 more times with our next 2 pieces of Dentalium. Making sure I'm grabbing one from each of the sections I have laid out so that they are matching on both sides. Then grab my beads in the same pattern, push them down, and add our 3rd piece of Dentalium. Now we've made it to the bottom or middle of the earring, so I'm going to lay out a pattern with some extra beads. Going big, small, small, big, small, small, big, like so. Then I'm going to go up through the Dentalium the opposite way from the bottom up, from the large end to the small end. And then I'm going to add my pattern on the opposite way. Again, so the big bead is on top as a stopper for the Dentalium. Finally adding my last piece, like so, and we're almost done. Now I'm going to go up through those base beads I used at the very top. So I'm going to go up through the other side, the other bead, like so. We're going to pull this nice and snug to make sure there's no thread showing. And then again, to secure, I'm going to go down through the other bead one more time. Up again, making sure we're nice and tight and nice and secure. Like so, and then down one final time. To finish off, I'm going to take both ends of the thread and tie them together into a knot. Taking my tail, putting it through, and pulling tight. Then doing it again to make sure I have a very secure double knot. And to finish, I'm just going to take my needle and thread and put it down through the dentalium to hide the thread and leave that excess so I don't have to worry about my knot coming undone. I'm going to do the same thing with my tail, putting my needle through the dentalium and then threading it. This is just a little bit easier than trying to thread such a short string. Pull it through, and then take your scissors and trim off the excess. This can be a little bit hard. You can also use wire cutters when it comes to Fireline because it is so thick and difficult to cut, but I'm just going to use my scissors, and then I'm going to take a beading lighter and use it to burn the ends. This will just make it nice and precise and hide that thread inside the dentalium. Perfect. And there you go, your finished earrings. All you have to do is add your earring hooks and they're ready to wear. And it's that easy. These are so simple to bead. They just take a little bit of time to process the dentalium, and then you have a gorgeous pair of little danglers. Ta-da! Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you liked it. Make sure to subscribe and have a beautiful day.